Hey math friends. So I want to give you a little review of the notes from yesterday and just explain to you how to combine like terms. So when we have an expression is just terms that are combined using plus or minus. So with our vocabulary here, we have these things called terms that are here in green. And that is a number and a letter, or just a number or just a letter that is separated by a plus or minus. And then we have this term over here, plus 12 or just 12. That is just a number by itself, which means it is a constant. The letter that represents a number is called a variable. And then any number that is connected directly with a variable is called a coefficient. And these are vocabulary words that you're going to need to make sure you know and know what they are so that you can do your IXL today. So let's just make sure we know what like terms are. And things that are alike are obviously similar. They must have the same variable, or they must be constants. And remember, a constant is just a number by itself. So if I am doing this and do not have colors that I can use different shapes. So I could put like terms in a square or a triangle or a circle, or I could do a little cloud shape. Or if I have different shapes, or if I have different colors, I like to use color in my life, so I'm going to use different colors for these. So let's look at this first term, 8c. Are there any other terms here that have a c as the variable? Yeah, I have 8c, and I'm going to use a square there. And then I have negative c. And let's just review really quick. If we have a variable by itself and there's nothing in front of it, there's only how many of those? There's only one. So we would understand that there's a 1 there. So that would be negative 1c. All right, let's look at the next set. And I don't see any more c's. But here I see an r. So I'm going to circle this for r. And I'm going to look and see if I have any other terms that have an r as the variable. And I do. I have 3.5r. Those are like terms. They have the same variable. And lastly, I have just a number by itself here, 4 and 11. And these are both constants, and those are both like terms. So now that we know what like terms are, now we're going to combine like terms to do what we call simplifying an expression. To simplify an expression, all that means is that we're going to put all the terms that are alike together until we can't put any more together. So let's look at these. For number 4, all right, let's look at this first term, negative 3d. Okay, I'm going to put a box around it. The next term has a d, so that's a like term to 3d. And then I have another d term, so all of these are like terms. But let me explain something important. You always want to include whatever is in front of each coefficient. So in front of the 3, there's a negative sign. In front of the 8, there's a plus sign. In front of the 5, there's a minus sign. I always want to do that. So now I'm going to take my coefficients, and I'm just going to add these integers. And I'm going to use order of operations. Negative 3 plus 8. Well, I'm remembering back to my rules for adding with negative numbers, and they're different signs. I subtract. So I know that 8 minus 3 is 5. And 8 is bigger, so my answer is positive. All right, and I'm going to bring down this minus 5. Well, 5 minus 5 is 0, so I don't have anything there. My answer is just 0. Okay, let's look at the next one. I have 3e as my first term. Do I have any more terms that have an e? I do. I have 7e, or minus 7e. Remember to always include what's in front of that coefficient. I'm going to use a different color now because now I have a constant, minus 19. And I have another constant, plus 10. Okay, so now I'm going to bring these, and it's almost as if I'm cutting and pasting. So I'm going to cut this 3e out, and I'm going to rewrite it here. And I'm going to cut minus 7e out, and I'm going to rewrite it here. I'm going to do the same thing with my constants. I'm going to cut minus 19 out, and I'm going to cut plus 10 out. And if you notice, I am using a different color for my boxes and circles, but I'm also using different shapes for different like terms. So that's kind of important. So now I have 3 minus 7e. I have 3 e's, and I want to take away 7. Well, I know that I can add the opposite here, so I get 3 plus negative 7. Well, now I know I'm adding with different signs, so I'm going to subtract to get 4, and 7 is larger, so I know my answer is negative, and I'm going to add my variable back. Now I'm going to do the same on this side, negative 19 plus 10. Well, I'm adding, but they're different signs, so I'm going to subtract. 19 minus 10 is 9. 19 is larger, so I'm going to make that a negative. So my answer here is negative 4e minus 9. All right, let's do another example. For number 7 down here, 1.5g minus 10 plus 6.5g minus 3. Well, my first term has g as the variable, and I have another term here that has g as the variable. And I also have two constants, minus 10, minus 3. So I'm going to next rewrite this so that my terms that are alike are beside each other. And all I'm doing is cutting them out and pasting them back down below. Now I want to combine my like terms. I have 1.5g, 6.5g. 1.5 plus 6.5 gives me 8g. That's a g. And then I have minus 10 minus 3. I can rewrite that as negative 10 plus negative 3, which gives me negative 13. So my answer here is 8g minus 13. And the very last example for today. 1/2 h plus 2h plus 3/2 h minus 1. Well, I'm going to put a box around this first term, and it has a h as the variable. The second term has a h as the variable, and the third term has a h as the variable. And my minus 1 here is by its lonesome. So now I'm going to combine all of these, and I'm adding them all. I have 1/2 plus 2 plus 3/2. Well, clearly I have a common denominator here, so I'm going to do 1/2 plus 4 over 2 to give me 2 plus 3 over 2. Remember, when we're adding fractions, we have to find a common denominator, and we're going to add or subtract our numerators. So 1 plus 4 plus 3 gives me 8 over 2, which equals 4h. So when I rewrite this, I'm going to rewrite it as 4h, which was combining all of these, and then I'm going to bring down that minus 1. So my answer here is 4h minus 1. And I just want to show you, I have an e term here that has a e as the variable, and then I have a constant. I cannot put these together because they both don't have an e. For number 7, I have a g term, and I have a constant, and I can't put those together. And for number 8, I have a h term and a constant, and I can't put those together. So my answers are going to have two terms in each of them, or possibly more if you have multiple variables. And that